Hello.
Hello.
Can you take it down? Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I'm free to roam today. What's clicking? Something clicking? No clicking? Pardon? Oh, I love you, Jerry. It's so good to see you. So good to see all of you. My name is Reverend Denise DeSimone, as Kathy and all these nice people have introduced me. And for those of you who've never met me, a little teeny smidge of me is I've been a Unitic since 1997. Actually, in 1985, I found Unity down in Nashville, Tennessee. Came back up north, and there were no Unity churches, and then waited till 1997 until Shipley Allenson started a prayer group with a few people, and it grew to 400 of us every Sunday with 2 services. And so Unity on the River has been a church of celebration for many, many years. We've since moved and gotten smaller, but COVID and all of that, we just kind of go with the flow. So I've been involved with Unity for a very long time, and in 2005 I got diagnosed with stage 4 throat and neck cancer. The Unity community held me high. I was on the board. In every capacity I could be, I was involved. And those people really stood up with me. And when I got cancer, I said, I don't have cancer. I have an opportunity to walk closer with God and to walk with all of you. And they all took the journey with me. And I don't think I would be here today without the Unity community and their prayers for me. And I went on to be an interfaith minister, and now I'm invited to great places like this to speak. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that story in a few minutes. But suffice it to say, if you want to know more, people that would need some inspiration or like some inspiration, please send them to DeniseDeSimone.com. Before I start in on my talk, this is a book that I wrote, and it's called From Stage 4 to Center Stage. And I have 5 copies today. Every time I speak, I give 5 copies away. I give them to people who would like them, but the only caveat, there is a caveat, to be able to read my fabulous book. And if you want to skip the book, you can go right to DeniseDeSimone.com and watch an hour and 10-minute documentary of my story. The picture on there is me being told I had 3 months to live. That was in 2005, and then I'd probably never sing again. I sing and play guitar, and that picture is of me just ending singing the national anthem at Fenway Park in front of 37,000 people. So don't believe people. You believe you. You believe you. So you can imagine head and neck cancer. I ate through a tube. I was fed through a tube for 9 months. I still don't. My new normal is eating differently. It was a rigorous journey. And the only caveat to taking one of my books, and I'll sign it for you, is that you make a donation to a place where they are dedicated to feeding people. No Kid Hungry, World Kitchen, Feeding America. Anywhere you want to make a donation, it's up to you. But if you take a book, you have to commit to that. I won't check up on you. Some people come up and go, well, I took your book and I didn't give, but I gave to St. Jude's, and I'm like, there's no confession. You're okay. You're okay. So anyway, this is an excellent time of year, isn't it? I mean, spring and the renewal of spring and moving into summer, and we can shed all of this heavy stuff and clothing. Is this too loud? Is that why we're feeding back?
No, you sound good.
Okay, all right. It's my own head buzzing. I'm excited. So, it's amazing that just all of a sudden, isn't it? Like you see a marina and there's no boats there, and then all of a sudden the next day you see 7,000 boats. And there's a bud on the tree, and then all of a sudden there's a gazillion leaves on the tree. And there's flowers and there's plants, and a little teeny tiny flower will find its way through a cement crack, a little crack, to poke its face up and find the light. Everything is operating at a higher vibration, isn't it? And it's beautiful. And we keep sneezing and sneezing and sneezing, but some reason we don't care, because it's a great time of year with a high vibration. And I ask, so are we vibrating at a higher vibration, right? And what do we do about our own internal vibration and vibrate at a higher frequency? You know, we are spending more time outside and exercising and taking care of ourselves. You know, in the wintertime, I go to Florida because I don't like being trapped in the house, because what I like to do is eat ice cream. And in the winter, I give myself permission to eat even more ice cream. And I have told people lately, I'm going to start, if I can't find Ice Cream Eaters Anonymous. Because it's getting to a point, and I just know that being trapped inside in the winter isn't for me. It's not the vibe I want. But this time of year, no matter what happens in winter, no matter the season, what happens to our internal vibration? What about that determines whether we have a good day or a bad day? You know, when it's hot out, we turn on the air conditioner. We adjust the thermostat. When it's cold out, we layer our clothing on. We turn the heat up. We adjust the thermostat. What about the thermostat that controls us from the inside out? Do we know that we actually have a thermostat that we control from the inside out? It's called the thermostat of our sacred vibration. Now, a little while ago, I had this aha moment. And what it was I looked at the word sacred, and I said, scared and sacred have the same letters. I love it when you When people I'm like, yeah, they're with me. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. I'm going to come back to that, because I want to talk a lot more about that. But, you know, how do we fine-tune our awareness? How do we fine-tune that vibration? How do we make that thermostat be set so we can find every day we wake up, we're promoting our health, our well-being, our happiness, our compassion, all the vibrations that we and everybody around us actually deserve, right? One thing all of us unitics know, and for some reason, we're presented with it time and time again to learn the lessons, that nothing outside of us has any power over us. Nothing external has any power over our mood. Nothing external has any power over our thoughts. Nothing external has any power of any of it. We determine, but we forget, because in those moments, we flip into believing that everything going on outside of us is to blame about what's happening inside of us. And that could not be further from the truth. Through our perception and lens we choose to look at life is what determines that. You with me? So how do we do that? How do we pause, what I call pause for a vibrational check? Just stop and ask and breathe and just check in with your sacred vibration, and you close your eyes and you go into the well of bliss that everybody has. That place where we in spirit just can join and meet, and nothing can enter in there, because that's our sacred space. But how often do we go there? You know, the best way to strengthen that is to spend some time in the silence. It doesn't matter how much time. You know, Rumi says, in the silence between your heartbeat bides a summons. Do you hear it? Name it if you must, or leave it forever nameless, but why pretend it is not there? Any Rumi fans among us? Yeah. I mean, that's so beautiful. Whether it's 5 minutes, which is now they're starting this new practice of meditation called micro-meditating. If you have 5 minutes, take it. 5 minutes of micro-meditating is better than no minutes. And whether it's 20 minutes or 5 minutes, it isn't the minutes we're meditating that's affected. It's all the minutes that we're not, that the meditation allows us to get into that well of bliss. And other times of day, we can go back to that place. You know, the Dalai Lama says he meditates for an hour a day, but when he's really, really busy, he meditates for 2. That's a good point. You know, silence and time in the silence, it offers us distance from, the reason we meditate is to take distance from our thoughts, where we can observe our thoughts. And we realize our thoughts don't have us, we have them. And I always say to people, choose wisely. We have 70,000+ thoughts a day, and for some reason, most of us err on the side of negativity with our thoughts. It's just human nature. Can't figure it out, don't know why. People have been studying it for years. But we are powerful people, and we have our thoughts, they don't have us. And in the time of silence, we can go into that, and observing our thoughts is the key that opens a spiritual door to our inner peace. You know, we want world peace. Peace happens one person at a time. It isn't about countries putting down weapons, which I pray to God every day that these boys with their toys, no offense, got to start letting this place get run by more women, which Massachusetts has a lot of women at the helm, which is really great. Nothing against men, but you guys have had it long enough. Cheers. As they say in Italy, Tony, chin chin. Pretend that's vino blanco. Oh, Italy. That's another subject. I'm going back September for my 18th trip. Wow. Yeah, I like it there. You know, Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. I say be the peace you want to see in the world. It's up to us. Now, do I mean this is possible 24/7? No. We're human. I'm Italian. It is not possible. You know? I pitch fits, but my training and my tool bag, my spiritual tool bag, which we all have, I can find my way back to center more quickly. And sometimes not. And our spirituality, remember I said this, our spirituality has to make room for our personality. Because we are human, right? And I'm not saying, you know, we have to be holier than thou all the time or beat ourselves up. You know, that is not spiritual. If you're finding that you're not being spiritual and your knickers are twisted all up on your neck, do not beat yourself up for that. Recognize it, learn from it, ask what's going on? What is happening? It's all part of human being. We're not human doings. We get all caught up in the we're human beings. So stop and just be. You get it? Okay, good. So let's go back to scared and sacred. How cool is that? Is that cool? Spirit went ping, and I thought, holy cow. So my next book is Scared to Sacred. Already started it, but we'll see how it goes. You know, not too long ago we celebrated Easter, right? Okay. So 2 days before Easter is Good Friday. Now Good Friday is a really heavy day, isn't it? It's a scary day. And for Jesus, it was especially scary. He got into his humanness and said, what did he say? He said, he fell on his face and prayed, saying, "Oh, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt." Was he scared? Of course he was. Who wouldn't be? Wouldn't we all be? But he knew what that passageway was. He knew that Good Friday and the events of Good Friday was an opening for the tomb being moved, the stone being moved, and resurrection. Now, I don't know if you follow that or believe it, or I hang out with Jesus a lot, and I have my own questions, and it's good to ask. But that is a very good teaching moment about scared to sacred. He could be scared because he was human, but he knew that it was a sacred time. And did he make the transition from scared to sacred pretty quickly? I think he did. You know, certain fears should be trusted as a guiding light. It can be guiding us on our journey to find wisdom in going to the spiritual realm, going into that place where we can admitting that we are fearful. And I always say fear will bow its head to faith. But admitting that we are fearful allows us to learn, allows us to be vulnerable, and allows us to then move into that sacred place. If we don't admit our fears, it binds us, right? It gets us locked up. When we're all fearful, but we don't want to be vulnerable, we don't want anybody to see that. I'm not afraid, I'm tough, I'm, blah, blah, blah. No. We can move into fear, we can move through it if we learn from it. In Proverbs 3:5-6, it says, we learn to lean not on our own understanding, but trust in the Lord with all our heart. I want to say that again. Trust in the Lord. Lord is a blanket for everything spiritual and energetic beauty and oneness and truth. To trust in that with all our hearts. How many of us can do that, and how often do we really stop and go, wait a minute, I'm not here alone. It's the only way I got through them telling me I had 3 months to live, and I will be 18 years from that day next month. So, thank you, but you don't have to clap, thank you. I'm just saying, I had to surrender, not in a giving up, but an opening up. And I had to know that I was fearful, but I didn't hang out there a lot. I used it as a tool. Representative John Lewis, he was interviewed about the march crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And he said when on Bloody Sunday in 1965, when he saw the police, he thought he was going to be dead. And he probably could have been, if not for the Lord moving in and people knowing what to do. But fear was right there with him. And Lewis, he still put his faith into action. I believe that all the people out protesting now, that's what they're doing. And we are not all John Lewises, but we're a sacred people. We are a sacred people that are here to do some things, and for multiple reasons. It can be scary, yet we know that these sacred moments help us step out into faith. And every single day, I turn on the news to know where to send healing light, and it's scary. They talk about problems with climate change and the planet burning up. You know what's burning up? People are burning up. People are burning up. We need climate change within the hearts and minds of human beings. And we have to start right here, right now, with every single one of us making a choice and turning down our own climate and not burning up. There's too many people killing too many people for nothing. People going in with guns and shooting our children. A little kid's basketball goes into a neighbor's yard and she and her father get shot. What? I could go on and on. I don't want to. I'm trying to make a point. Climate change has to stop. We have to change our own climate. My niece called me the other day and said, Auntie, I was at the gym. She's a 45-year-old woman. What's to stop? She said, I was sitting out there, I'm doing my exercise, and I thought, what's to stop somebody from coming in here with a gun and shooting all of us? And I said, nothing, but protect yourself, be smart, be aware. That little voice isn't just in my niece's head. It's in all of our heads. But how well-toned is our spiritual muscle? How well-toned is our spiritual muscle? To take action and know it is up to us. And to go from scared to sacred. Move the letters. Make a choice. And we don't need to be scared of each other. Too many people are too scared of each other. And you know what? That's going to stop. I'm going to tell you a little story. When you come in contact with people that you feel any kind of vibration, even the tiniest, like, oh, I like their eyes or I like their smile. There's how many millions of people, 340 million people just in this country alone. If you are passing by somebody in your life, that's a miracle. That's how I feel. People are there to be enjoyed and to loved. So I was in Market Basket not long ago. And I love music. And Market Basket, I don't know about this place down here, but our Market Basket has the best music. Jack, you would love it. You'd be like hanging out in the Market Basket in Newburyport, where you grew up, just absolutely dancing in the aisles with me. So I took longer. See, they're smart marketing. Keep people here, they buy more stuff. Oh, I had a basket full. I was dancing through the aisles. And at one point, we were singing, a couple of people were singing and humming as we passed by. At one point, I looked at this woman and she looked at me and we just took it down and we started boogieing. Now, I don't know her, probably never see her again. But in that moment, everything was beautiful. In that moment, we were healing the world. In that moment, we let our heartstrings come together. Because when we do this, we weave the fabric of our universal oneness, right? Do not be afraid of each other. Do not be afraid to have fun and play with people. That's why we're here. We're here it's like Earth School, right? It's Earth School. I went to have Japanese lunch the other day, and there was this couple, and they were cool, and they walked out before us, and the guy said, let's go over to Salvation Army. She turned around, she goes, no, I'm not going to Salvation Army. And he stood there like, well, come on, why do you want to go to Salvation Army? So I'm just trying to walk by them, and he says, I don't know, we just wanted to go. She goes, no. And she just took off, and he followed her like a little puppy. And I said, as I'm walking, I just walk, and I said, happy wife, happy life. And that risk I took spurred a beautiful conversation. They told me how long they've been together, how long they've been married, how much he adores her. Now, if I just walked on and didn't pay attention, I love people. We're all we have. All we have is each other, and we will not have each other forever. Remember that. When you hesitate to tell someone you love them, and you go, oh, I shouldn't say that. No, you tell them you love them. Okay? In the Center for Christ Consciousness, it defines Christ consciousness as this: the highest state of intellectual development and emotional maturity. One has transcended the limited time and space, mind, and perspective. That's what that lady and I did, dancing in the aisles. Living the Christ consciousness is therefore a continuous process of experiencing, learning, growing, and expanding in awareness and love. So people, I don't care where you are, dance in the aisles. Don't be afraid of people. Yay! Who's going to do it? I'm coming back. I'll ask. All right. I love it. You know, life happens. There's no way around it. Situations are going to arise. There will always be a reason of protest. Illness is going to happen. People are going to hurt us because someone, some way, someday, somehow, sometimes people hurt us. Don't hold on to that. No matter what the situation, we have the power to choose. We have the power to switch the letters. Switch the letters from scared to sacred. Love yourself enough to be present in every moment. You know, I always say cancer was the best present I ever received. People look at me and cock their head like a dog hearing a high-pitched noise. And I say, because the presence of cancer was the best present, it taught me to be with the presence and to be present. And what more can we ask for but that? So next time you get scared, remember this crazy Italian telling you to change the letters, switch the energy. Scared to sacred. Choose wisely. I love you. Thank you for your kind attention.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass., and visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.